What's up, guys? Today, I have a bit of a treat for us. This just came out a couple days ago. The Rogue Fitness Mace. Rogue Fitness Mace. It's Rogue. It is overbuilt as hell, which is good. But it's Rogue, who hasn't really done anything in the space of maces, so it is a bit of a mixed bag, okay? So first off, let's get into the specs. It is 20 pounds empty. It comes with an aluminum Rogue Oso collar, which is very nice. With the collar, it is 20.5 pounds empty. More on that later. Sleeve length here, 7.5 inches. Decent, not bad. More on that later as well. It is stainless steel construction. Awesome. No oxidation. Pretty great. No coating, which means the knurl stays. The knurl they refer to as a multi-knurl, which I'm not entirely sure what that means. But it is a very fine knurl. I don't know if it'll focus and you can see it. It's a very fine knurl. A slightly sharper than the knurl you'd find on like a CK Mace Works or on the Attitude Adjustable Mace, which is the one I make. But very fine, decent. Has a nice kind of beveled edge pummel here as well. And I mean, it is Rogue, baby. It is Rogue. It is hefty, solid. It feels overbuilt. Has the little in the the little name there. Other thing that is new about this one is, I don't know if you can see that, it spins. It's a barbell sleeve. It's a legit freaking barbell sleeve, which, according to their marketing, is supposed to make it swing smoother, things like that. So put it through the ringer. I compete next weekend, which is dumb because I've done about 500 swings on this bastard yesterday and today, and my elbow does not feel amazing. So if I lose Vintage Strength Games to Tim or to Brad, that's my excuse. Okay, now that we know all the specs, let's get into the good, the bad, the ugly. Now, one thing they talk about in their marketing is that compared to other companies' maces with hollow steel tubing, ours is solid steel, and that makes it awesome. I got some bad news, Rogue. That does not make it awesome. That makes it not quite right. So when it comes to maces, unlike a barbell, you want things balanced so you can go real heavy, big overload. And yes, you want to go real heavy on maces too. That is 100% true. But if this is 20 pounds, there's a couple problems. First, you have to, before you feel, I mean, it's going to be imbalanced, but the weight distribution is going to be a lot more even. Traditional Gada swinging out of India, it is a bamboo pole with a huge thing on the end. So it is as unbalanced as possible, and controlling the weight as it's whipping around you is kind of the whole thing. Figuring out that timing, being able to whip things hard when you should whip them hard is a big thing about competitive mace swinging and about maces in general. The core stability required because of the super unbalanced nature of it will still happen. It will still happen with this, okay? So I'm not even super upset with that. And in fact, the maces that I developed and went on the market a little before this, but no patent, everybody's happy, it's fine. My first run, the guy I was working with got solid steel bars because he had a killer price on them. This is my first rendition. It is 23 pounds. And I quickly discovered, oh, that's why maces are like 8 to 10 pounds empty, not 23 pounds, because you could definitely tell the difference. So, figured that out, went for hollow tubing. The other thing that matters a lot when you're talking about the weight of the empty mace is if you are new to mace swinging, 20 pounds, 10 pounds, it all sounds light to you. Till you've swung a 10-pound versus a 20-pound mace, 20 pounds is heavy for a mace. You're not just doing a strict press. You're not doing a bilateral movement where everything's balanced and happy and moving controlled. You are whipping a thing around your body. It's unbalanced. The timing is funky until you get used to it. So it's very helpful to learn with a lighter implement. Like I'll have people when I'm coaching using 10-pound maces, and we'll still have to choke up to it to about here to make it so that it's easier to control for them, so it doesn't have as much whip because it doesn't have as much leverage. So while this may be you can get away with it being 20 pounds if the person's already pretty good. If they're trying to introduce maces to people who haven't done them before, which is why I'm super glad Rogue's getting into the space, because it's going to bring a lot of eyes to the sport and the activity. You're going to get a brand new person. They're going to be like, oh, Rogue makes a mace thing. And they watch some mace videos and they're like, oh, that looks cool. They're going to buy this and they're going to be like, holy shit, it's 20 pounds. It'll take them like 3 months before they can not suck at it compared to like a week if it was a 10-pound mace. So that to me is a big error on Rogue's part. And this is a version 1 product, but I feel like the dude that they have pictures in, his name is escaping me. He's actually a pretty well-known mace practitioner. A lot in the flow department, which is like kind of more martial arts katas versus like heavy swinging. So not necessarily my world, but he's very knowledgeable, and I feel like especially him being a guy from flow, which typically uses lighter maces, would have talked a little bit about this with them. Or they may have just looked on the internet and been like, who's pretty popular in the mace world? Let's pay him some money and he can come in and shoot some videos and look cool with our mace, and just don't tell anyone it sucks. Because it kind of hurts me to say, because I do love Rogue, this attempt kind of sucks. I feel like this should be the prototype that they made some, sent them out to people like me and him and Tom DeJulie and some of these guys out in Cali, like Rick Brown, some of the people that have been in the game for a long time and are proficient and good. They should have sent some of those out and been like, what do you think? What's the feedback? What could we do better? Because as soon as I saw the description, I thought of like 4 things, and I'm like, oh, this would make it amazing. And maybe their version 2 will be, okay, sorry. I didn't want this to be like a straight up hate Rogue the whole time video. Woosah. Okay. We're not done with the bad news, though. There is good news. There is good news on this. It is cool. I will get to it. But I got to address the little things where I'm like, ooh, if you were thinking about buying an adjustable mace and you saw this and you were like, oh, that's a pretty good deal and Rogue makes it, I'm going to go for it. These are just things you need to know. Their other thing that they describe is the spinning barbell collar. I have not, in multiple hundreds of swings at various weights, from 20 pounds, because that's as light as it goes, all the way up to 50 pounds on this thing. I have not seen it, I have not felt the difference of this versus my old 23-pound prototype when swinging it. They feel almost exactly the same. This knurl is a little rougher, so I'm a little, I don't know if you can see, but I'm a little chopped up from it, especially like right there. Got a little chopped up from it because the knurl is just a little too aggressive, but it's so fine it almost doesn't matter. I think next time if I want to mess with this, I might put on some rep wax first on the bar instead of chalk, and that might make a big difference. But this swung almost unnoticeably different than this one, the prototype I made months ago. So the barbell thing it feels like it should be a thing that matters, but it just doesn't. So ignore that, okay? Ignore that, and what do we have? We have a 43-inch, which is a great height for a mace. They also make a shorter one that's 31 inches. That's kind of halfway between a club and a mace. Pricing-wise, we have a good deal. This is $225. And then plus shipping, to me, it was like $260 because Rogue's like that. So it's really, honestly, it's the exact price point of the ones I make, which this is the one I make. Has a nice fine knurling, pommel on the end. Yeah, the welding ain't as pretty as Rogue's, but no spinning collar, but 10 pounds. Little longer loadable sleeve. I'll do a review on this one. This is Rogue's video. This is Rogue's video, Dan. This is not Attitude Iron's video. That's okay. But basically same price point, right? So mine is $250 shipped to your door if you're in the domestic US. Theirs was like $260 to me. It is stainless steel, which I love. It is Rogue, which I love that they're getting into the space. I wish their knurling went all the way down, or at least down to here maybe, just for some other things that you do with maces. The matte finish is great. It looks really cool. It will not scrape off through usage. So there's a lot. The fit and finish on the Rogue one is killer. I just feel like they dropped the ball when it came to the weight, when it came to the knurl being just maybe that's personal preference, but to me the knurl is just a touch too aggressive. I feel like their sleeve length should have been a little longer. The diameter is perfect. I love this 32 millimeter thing. It's like 1.25 inches. Super solid. I just wish it was hollow. If it was hollow, I would be like, man, there is no reason to buy mine over theirs. But as is, for the moment, it hurts me to say it. For the moment, this is a version 1 product like Titan makes version 1 products. It looks right, you think it's going to be good, and then you use it, and it's just the things that they say are benefits don't really do anything. The spinning collar doesn't really do anything. The 20-pound weight that they advertise as a good thing is not a good thing. The knurl is okay. God, I wish this was better. Part of me is a little perturbed because mine went to market first. I've been working on it for like 3 years. But Rogue is going to get so many eyes on the sport, which I love, which is only going to help everybody who makes maces in the industry. If more people know we exist, that is awesome. But man, I would wait until version 2. I would wait until version 2 because hopefully in version 2 they take some feedback and they're like, okay, hollow is good. Maybe make the knurl just a touch more passive, but honestly the knurl is fine. Maybe a touch more loadable sleeve length. So loadable sleeve length on here, 7.5 inches. When you put the collar on, it's 6 inches. So that's okay for most people, but if you get swinging heavy, it just gets a little tight on space. I personally like to use 2.5s all the way down, so it stays a little smaller, so you're not going to hit yourself. 5s work, so I am able to put just a bunch of 5s on here, and I can load it pretty dang heavy. Okay, I loaded it up. There's 7 5s on here, so that's 35 pounds plus the 20 pounds. That's a 55-pound mace, and that's about as heavy as you'll be able to go and fit a collar. I did swing a little bit up to 30 pounds earlier and then film some stuff. So this is essentially cold. We'll see how 55 swings. But my point is, I much prefer 2.5s, and you're not going to be able to load that heavy there. You can get clearance with 10s, but you have to change your angle a little bit sometimes. 5s is typically the biggest I go on this style of mace. And with only 5 or 6 inches of loadable space, with 5s you're capping out at, 55. With 10s you can be capping out considerably heavier. So if you're okay swinging 10s, this is going to be as heavy as you'll ever need. If not, it's going to be a little spicy. Let's see how this sucker rolls. I might have to edit this part out. Yeah, that's spicy. So yeah, swing's pretty smooth, but you can see there's just a little bit of collar left here. Not enough for the 5 plate, or not enough for like a 6 plate, and maybe a 6. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not enough for an 8th plate. maybe enough for an 8th plate, but man, we're testing that collar at that point. It may not be all the way on at that point. Ooh, so overall rolling. It's too early to say. I don't want to give it a rating because I feel like their version 2 will be like a 10 out of 10. But God, if I had to give it a rating, fit and finish is a 10 out of 10. Usability, if you're already decent, 7 out of 10. But like overall, it's got to be. It's right there with the Kensui. It's like somewhere between a 6 and a 7, which shouldn't be where Rogue is. It's weird. I wanted to hate this. I wanted to hate this because I have a similar product out. But then I was like, it's Rogue and it can bring a lot of people to sports. So then I wanted to really like it. I wanted to really love it because of that. And I kind of just, it's, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, like, comment if you got one. Let me know what you think about it as well. I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe. I agree, I am biased a little bit since I have like the same darn thing with some of those issues fixed. But man, it could be so good. It could be so good. It could be so good. And I feel like this video is running too long because I'm just so like, back and forth about it. Like, I want to like it. 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 Link in the bio if you want to buy it. We will have some links to some of the other videos of Mace's that I have recorded. And let's see, we did the Kensui, the Maverick, the Rogue. We still got the Attitude Mace, which is mine. We still got the Iron Master, which I'm filming a little later today. We still got, whenever he sends it to me, my homie Ryan's, which is a very unique design. As soon as it gets to me, I'll get that one out as well. Hopefully, all these are done within a week's time span, and you can have the plethora of reviews from someone who actually swings maces competitively and is balls deep into this shit.